Good morning, men and women. Today we're going to be talking about perimeter and area. Now, in the past few years, you've already covered squares and rectangles and triangles. So just before we get started, we are going to circles today. But before we do it, let's review, because it's always good, even though our curriculum in grade 8 says circles, we got to make sure you understand the stuff you've done in the past. Now, before we can get started, you have to be able to visualize the difference between perimeter and area. And when I look at this myself, and I always had to remember, I always use the word rim in perimeter. And when I use the word rim, I always think about the outside of a shape. So the perimeter of this square or the perimeter of this triangle is just the outside of the shape. But the area is not the outside. The area is everything that is inside the shape. You're measuring the amount of space in that two-dimensional shape. And there are two different formulas that you can use. There's an easy one for perimeter and for area. So we'll just quickly go over those. And I'll do a square and a rectangle and a triangle. And I'm just going to give some arbitrary sizes here. Let's just say that this is 4 centimeters. Remember that this tag or this little dash on the line means that all those sides are the same, and that makes sense because it's a square, even though I didn't quite draw it to scale. Anyhow, in this one I'll make it 5 centimeters, and I'll make this one 15 centimeters. And over on this triangle I'll go 4 meters, put a tick here, which tells that that's 4, and I'll make this one 6 meters. So if we are doing the perimeter of these shapes, there are many different ways to do it. For a square, the best one for perimeter equals 4s, which is 4 times the side. Since all 4 sides are the same, it simply is 4. You substitute the value of one of the sides, which just happened to be 4, and the perimeter of this would be 16 centimeters. Now that's one way to get the answer, but if you were to forget that, you could easily also go perimeter equals side 1 plus side, sorry about that, I sneezed, S1 plus S2 plus side 3 plus side 4, and that's 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, and we would still come out to the same answer of 16 centimeters. So there's the first one. And I don't think that's new to anybody. Let's move this out of our way so we can deal with the next one. All right. When we get to the perimeter of a rectangle, perimeter equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width is your simplest formula, and it will be 2, and you substitute the length, which is 15, plus 2 times the width, which is 5. 2 times 15 is 30. 2 times 5 is 10. Your perimeter of this is going to equal 40 centimeters. Now, let me just take this and move it out of the way for a second. Again, that's the best way. That's the most mathematically accurate way to do it. But you could still just do side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3 plus side 4. It's just not as grown up in the mathematical world, but it still would have worked. 5 plus 15 plus 5 plus 15 will still get you 40 centimeters. That is still the perimeter of that shape. All right, and lastly, cut that, move it down, paste it. Lastly, we'll do the perimeter of this shape. Perimeter for a triangle, as much as there is no set formula, it is simply side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3, and that would be 4 plus 4 plus 6 14 meters is our perimeter. Those are all the distances around the outside. When we're doing area, however, if we're going to do the inside of this, there is a different formula for area. Area of a square, and I always like to go a square and draw the picture. That's just length times width. And in fact, area of a rectangle, draw a little picture of a rectangle, is also length times width. So in the square, both of the lengths are the same, and the length of the width is the same. It will just be 4 times 4, and that equals 16 centimeters squared. Please do not forget the squared symbol. That is showing you that you've done an area answer. For this one, we substitute the numbers in. Oh, by the way, I should have gone back here and put brackets around to show I've substituted. The length is 15 times the width of 5. And 15 times 5 is 75 centimeters squared. Again, when you're doing area, do not forget to put in the squared sign. Area of a triangle, which you haven't done since last year, is base times height divided by 2. So in this question, the base is what it's sitting on, and that would be this length here, so that's 4. The height of it is how tall it is straight up at 90 degrees, and that would be 4, and you would divide it by 2. Remember when we did these questions before, you have to do all the top before you do the bottom. That would be 16 over 2, and that equals 8 meters squared. So we're going to get into this and just practice a few of these today, just to review our stuff from last day before we get into circles.